Today in our notes, this is going to be number 7. Please make sure you number that. Please make sure you put your name on your paper, so if it's left, I know who it belongs to. All right. Today we're going to be simplifying algebraic expressions. All right. In order to do this, there's one really important step that we're going to do today, and we're going to be doing something called combining like terms. All right. And I'm going to underline like terms, because that is one of your vocabulary words. If like terms does not sound like anything you've ever heard of, you have not looked at your vocabulary since probably Monday last week. Okay? Monday last week, we wrote down 7 of the 8 vocabulary words. If we haven't spent any time studying those, our test is on Friday. We need to make sure we go back and look at those. All right? 7 of them are on notes number 1. The other one is on notes number 5, where we talked about properties. We did one other definition there. All right? Like terms. The definition that we wrote down and the definition that is on the test says like terms are terms that contain the same variable or variables to the same power. So if we're saying they have the same variables and the same exponents, aren't we just saying that they match?
Yes.
So guys, they're called like terms because they are alike. All right. Our directions here say to simplify each expression. The word simplify, does that mean we're going to work it out?
No.
Am I going to plug a number in? No, simplify. What does the word simplify mean, Jay?
Make something smaller.
To make something smaller. I like that explanation. In fact, when we're making it smaller, I have to make it as small as possible. So, for example, we simplified fractions a lot this year. If I have the fraction 8 over 12, I want you picturing 8 over 12 in your head. If I divide those by 2, 8 would change to 4, 12 would change to 6. So that would give me 4 over 6. Is that simplified? No, because 4 and 6, I can make them even smaller by dividing by 2 again. So it would go all the way down to 2/3. So make sure, guys, when we're simplifying, here's the important thing, not about the fractions. The important thing is when you're simplifying, you get it as small as possible. Okay? All right. That's going to matter in just a minute. All right, so for number 1, I have 2x. Listen to the way I read this, please. 2x minus 3 plus 5x. All right, guys, that's subtraction sign. Is that going with the 2x or is that going with the 3? Which number am I actually taking away? Which number am I actually subtracting? My 2x or my 3? Brian?
3.
The 3. Don't y'all agree that we're saying minus, take away 3? And then this addition sign goes with the 5x. We are adding the 5x. All right? So 2x, does it really have a sign with it? No. So what I want us to do, we're going to separate this into the different pieces. So we're going to say, okay, 2x, that's a piece. Do y'all agree? And then we're going to say minus 3. Why am I putting the minus sign with the 3? Joelle, thank you for raising your hand. That's the number that's being taken away. That's what we're actually subtracting. And then when I circle a 5x, I'm not just going to circle 5x. What am I going to keep with it, Aaron?
The x. Oh, 5x.
What am I going to keep with the 5x?
Oh, the plus sign.
The plus sign. All right, so do y'all see how now I have 3 different boxes, but everything is in a box?
Yeah.
All right. So guys, let's look inside these boxes, starting with the first one. The first box says 2x. Is there any other box that looks like it should match with a 2x? Anderson? The box that says 5x. These match because they both have x. Do y'all agree with that? So these are called like terms. So if I read this, all right, listen to how I'm going to read this. Here, this is like saying 2 x's because it's being multiplied. I have 2 x's plus 5 x's. if I have 2 x's plus 5 x's, how much do I have, Aaron? 7 x's, or 7x. So the reason we can add those is because by multiplying, we're saying there are 2 x's there. We're saying there are 5 x's here. That's like if I was talking about apples. If I have 2 apples, and then I add 5 apples, how much do I got? 7 apples. 2x plus 5x gives me 7x. Okay? Now, this x might not be apples. This x might be oranges. All right? It's x. It can be whatever it wants, can it?
Yeah.
All right? Are there any questions about where we got 7x from?
No.
Joelle?
Well, we have to, on the test, we have to put the units.
We're not measuring anything. We're not measuring anything. Okay. All right. So, guys, I'm done with these 2 boxes, so I'm going to mark them out. Okay. Is there anything left in that problem? What is left, Holland?
-3.
-3. So we're just going to bring that down. Was there anything that matched with -3?
No.
All right. So, guys, remember, our goal is to make it as small as possible. Now it says 7x minus 3. Did those match? Do they have the same letter? No. So that is as small as it can be. That is our answer. That's as small as it can get. All right. Jay?
Why can't you just multiply the
It doesn't say to multiply them. It's saying that we're doing 2x plus 5x. It says we're adding it. London?
Oh yeah. Do we have to put it in a square or can we circle?
You can circle it.
So if there's a, if so you only do the numbers that have like terms.
You only do the ones that have like terms. You only do the ones that match. You only do the ones that have the same letter. The exact same letter. And we'll see that in just a minute. All right, let's look at number 2. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate it into my pieces, okay? So for number 2, 13A is my first piece because it's in the front, it's by itself. So we're going to put a box around 13A. What's my next box going to go around? Aaron?
Plus 4B.
Plus 4B. All right, and what's my next box going to go around, Joelle? Minus B. All right, so now let's start with my first box, 13A. Are there any boxes that have an A? Are there any boxes that match?
No.
It's just 13A, right? So we're just going to write 13A because there's nothing that matches. So I have 13A, and I'm going to mark that one out because I've already written it down. Okay. Are we good so far? Raise your hand if you have a question. All right. Guys, so now that I marked out, do y'all see where it says plus 4B? Is there anything in front of that 4B to add it to now?
No, yeah.
I've already marked that 13A out, right? So is there anything in front of 4B to add it to? Okay, so guys, when we're doing this, I'm just going to focus on 4B. I'm not worried about the plus sign right now. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to look at 4B. So now it says 4B minus B. All right, I'm going to read it the same way I read the first one. If I have 4 B's and I take away B, what am I left with, Kaylee? If I have 4 B's and I take away a B, what am I left with, Jacob? 3 B's. Get it? If I have, this isn't saying just 4 and then a B next to it. It's saying there are 4 B's. And then we're going to take away a B, which if you wanted to, you could say you're taking away 1 B. 4 minus 1 is 3. Guys, that B can't just disappear. That B is still there. All right? So, do y'all see, now have I done 4B and I've done the minus B? All right, have I done anything with that plus sign yet? No. So I've taken care of my 4B. I've taken care of minus B. Do y'all see how I still have that plus sign? So do I still need to bring that down to my answer?
Yes.
So I'm going to put my plus sign right there. Okay. Questions about how I did that?
Nope.
All right, let's look at the next one. Number 3. The first thing says 8x to the second power. Do you see how all of that is written together?
Yes.
So I'm going to circle all of that as my first term, my first thing in this problem. So that's my first term. All right, what am I going to circle next, Jay? Plus 7xy. Very good. All right, and then what's the last thing I'm going to circle, Lexi? Minus 5x to the second power. Okay, now guys, you'll notice all of them have x's, don't they?
Yeah.
But do they all have the exact same x? This is where it matters. If you are like matching letters, these both have an x to the second power. This one has x and y. So when I'm looking here, I have 8x to the second power. What's going to match with that? Maddie? The third one, the very end. So it's going to say 8x to the second minus 5x to the second. 8x to the second minus 5x to the second. What do I get there, Joelle? I have a like term. What do I get when I put them together?
8x to the second power minus 5x.
And what do I get when I work that out? 3x to the second power. Because all that's happening, guys, we're doing 8 minus 5. Am I changing my letter?
No.
Am I changing my exponent?
No.
No, guys, that x to the second power is what made them match. It's what made them alike. It's what made them simplify. Okay, so we want to keep that the way it is, all right?
That's what I call it.
So, guys, I'm done with those two. I'm going to mark them out. All right, is there anything left in this problem that I still need to put, that I still need to bring down? Raise your hand, please, Aaron.
Plus 7xy.
Plus 7xy. All right. Let's look at number 4. What's the first thing I'm going to circle? Aaron.
11c.
11c. What am I going to circle next, Brandon? Minus 2. What am I going to circle next? Juan Carlos? Minus 10c. All right. I'm starting with the 11c. Is there anything that matches with that? Dylan? 10c. What is 11c minus 10c, Dylan? 1c. We're going to talk about that. If you've worked ahead of me, you might want to go back. Because if you left it at 1c, we're fixing to go back and fix that. Okay? So, 11c, we're going to mark that out. Minus 10c, we did that, so I'm marking that out. All right, I agree, 11 minus 10 is 1. So we're going to put 1c for now. We're going to go back and talk about it in a second, okay? Is there anything else that I need to bring down to go with that, Kaya? The minus 2. All right, are we good so far?
Yes.
Before I add anything else in, are there questions about the 1c minus 2?
No.
Yes, Jay? You still couldn't combine them because this is x squared and that would just be x by itself. They have to match exactly. Okay. All right, so guys, let's talk about that 1c real quick, all right? I need you listening to me. Anderson. Thank you. All right. 1c. One letter. Isn't that just the same as the letter by itself?
Yeah.
Which one is simpler? 1c or just a c?
Just a C.
Just a c. Do y'all agree with that? So guys, if my directions say to simplify, remember that means we have to make it as small as possible. Which one is smaller? 1c or just c? C, because that's one less letter. So the way you actually want to write this answer is just c minus 2. We don't want to put that 1 in our final answer. Do y'all see how that made it simpler? 1c minus 2 or c minus 2? C minus 2 is going to be simpler. Yes?
So there's like a 1 behind whatever letter it is. Is that going to be the letter?
It's just the letter. So anytime you have 1 in a letter, it's just that letter. So I have 1A. That means A. If I have 1X, that means X. 1M? M. 1Q? Q. 1W? W. All right, anytime you have 1 in a letter, it's just the letter. Are we okay with that? All right, Jay? So C and 1C are the same thing. But Jay, simplify. Remember, you told me to simplify means to make it smaller, right? Which one's smaller, 1C or C? C, because it doesn't have as much stuff. So remember, that's kind of like in our math workshop today. It said, what is the best answer? A trapezoid is a quadrilateral. It is a polygon. But more specifically, it's a trapezoid. 1C minus 2 is correct, but have I simplified it all the way? I can make it simpler by taking that 1 off. So it's about doing it all the way. Okay? $11C minus 10C. 11 minus 10 is 1. Your answer cannot be 1C. If you put 1C, I will mark it wrong. Okay, you've got to get rid of the 1. All right? If you write it in your work, just like I did here, that's fine. Did I circle that part, though? No. All right, let's look at number 5. Let's keep going. All right? If you'll notice down here at the bottom, all of these have parentheses. I need y'all two to stop. All of these have parentheses here. The problem that we run into, I would love to be able to put that X and that 10X together. But do you see how that X is in parentheses? Yeah. So it's kind of like it's trapped. Those parentheses are holding it there. I can't just move it and put it with the 10. All right? But what I can do, guys, do y'all see this 3 next to the parentheses?
Yes.
Yesterday we talked about how if a number is next to the parentheses, I can take it and I can pass it out. I can distribute it using what operation? Multiplication. Okay? So I'm going to take my 3 and I'm going to pass it to the X by multiplying. So 3 times X is going to give me, Joelle? 3X. I'm going to keep my plus sign there. Have I passed it to everything? No. Now I've got to pass my 3 to 4. So when I pass 3 and I multiply it times 4, 3 times 4, what does that give me, Jay? What am I doing when I'm distributing? Think about it. The 3 is right next to the parentheses. We're multiplying. So 3 times 4 is 12. Okay. Do I need to multiply 3 times 10x? No. All right, Kaylee, I see you shaking your head. Why do you say no? The 10x, is it in the parentheses? You only pass it out in the parentheses. Remember, that's like, I only pass the papers out in here. Do I go and pass them out in Miss Ritchie's room?
No.
No. All right? Y'all, this classroom is like my parentheses. It's where I have to stay. It's where I have to teach math. I can't go start teaching like in Miss Steele's room, okay? All right? I've got to stay in my classroom. 3 has to stay inside the parentheses. Okay? So that plus 10x, I'm just going to bring it down because it's not in the parentheses. We're just going to leave it like it is. All right? Now I'm going to do what I was doing before. I'm going to box them off and put together what matches. All right? So I'm going to box my 3x. I'm going to box my plus 12. And I'm going to box plus 10x. Which of my boxes? So let's start with my 3x. What's going to match? Is there anything that matches with that?
Yes.
Rylan? So we have 3x plus 10x. Rylan, what does that give me? 13x. So I'm done with those x's. All right. Anything else left that needs to go in this problem? Tyler? Plus 12. Okay. All right. Number 6. Again, you notice those. Yes.
Oh, never mind. I forgot you don't add them.
Yeah, we don't add them because 12 doesn't have an x, so we're done. All right. Number 6. You see we have parentheses again, right? Which means we know we're going to have to Distribute. So in the notes, do you see where it says sometimes you will need to distribute? Raise your hand if you can tell me, when am I going to need to distribute, Brian? When there are parentheses. When you got parentheses, we need to distribute, okay? So I'm going to take my 2 and I'm going to pass it to 4. Kaden, what does that give me? 8. I'm going to keep the minus sign. Now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and real quick, oops, my bad. I'm going to apologize. Okay? So our properties, when we did commutative, associative, identity, you know those only work for adding and multiplying, right? When we did distributive yesterday, this is where sometimes I forget. 6th grade. 6th grade, so we got to do things a little funky. We can't have minus signs and negative signs, okay? So when I wrote out these notes, I was just thinking of problems that work. Distribution, you're going to learn more about it in the 7th grade, and you're going to be able to distribute over minus. It works the exact same. All right, so we're going to distribute just like we've been doing it. This has a minus sign. I just wrote minus. Are y'all okay with that? I still got to multiply 2 times 2b. What does that give me? 4b. And then what about the 7? Jay? We distributed like normal. What I wanted to emphasize here is, yes, this is subtraction. We can do that when we're distributing. Can I have subtraction with commutative? Can I have subtraction with associative? Can I have subtraction with identity? No. Can you do it with distribution? 2 times 4 is 8. I've got to pass it to this as well because that's in parentheses. So I'm passing 2 to 2. What's 2 times 2? 4. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to box it off again. There's my 8 minus 4b plus 7. All right. I've had this kind of throw some people off. I don't think it's going to happen in here, though. All right. 8 doesn't have a letter. Is there anything that would match 8 by also not having a letter? Hayden. 8 and 7. So remember, we said they have to match because they need the same letter. Well, by both of them not having one, that kind of created the same one. All right. So since they both don't have a letter, I'm going to do 8 plus 7, which is 15. And then I can mark those out. And then minus 4b. Was there anything with a b? No. No, so I'm just going to put minus 4b. Okay. All right, number 7. These last ones are a little bit challenging, but I think y'all are ready for it. All right. On number 7, I'm going to start off with that 4a. Now, I look at the problem first. What does this problem have? Jay? Parentheses. So I know I have to distribute. So right now, am I trying to combine anything? No, I'm just going to say, okay, 4a isn't near my parentheses. My plus sign isn't next to my parentheses. 7, it's by the parentheses, so that's what I need to pass out. So I'm going to do 7 times 2b. What does that give me, Joelle? 14b. Keep my plus sign. I have to pass it out to everything. So don't forget to pass 7 to a. When I pass 7 to a, what does that give me, Jonah? 7a. 7a. Am I going to pass it to b?
Nope.
No, that is not in the parentheses, so just put minus b. London?
Why is it 7?
Why is it 7a?
Yeah.
Because I did 7 times a. 7 times a, we just put them next to each other and make 7a. Okay? Holland?
Is that 14b?
Yes. Jay? Aaron?
On number 6, are we going to have any problems on that?
You could. All right. So next step, Jay. Put a box around 4a. Keep going. Plus 14b. Keep going. Plus 7a, and then minus b. Okay? So we got a lot more boxes here. That's cool. We're ready for this, okay? So I'm going to start with 4a. What can match with 4a? Dylan. 7a. So this says 4a plus 7a. What is 4a plus 7a? Juan Carlos. 11a. So I'm done with my a's. All right, let's finish this out real quick, okay? Then this says plus 14b. Am I actually adding it to anything? No. So I'm just going to do 14b minus b. What does that give me? Cameron. 13b. What have I still not used? The plus sign, so bring it down. All right. First spell, if you need to leave, I'm going to do that last one real quick, guys. Aren't you third? Okay. Come by. We'll print it tomorrow, okay? All right. Last problem. 5x. Is it near my parentheses? 5xy. No. So we have 5xy plus, here I'm going to take that x and multiply it by 3. What's x times 3 going to give me? So guys, this time we're doing that variable, we're doing that letter just like we would a number. I'm going to take x and multiply it by 3. What does that give me, Holland? 3x. Guys, I love how she didn't try to say x3. Remember, this isn't Star Wars. It's not R2D2. It's 2R2D. So here we want to make sure we do 3x in order. All right. Is that the only thing I need to pass x to, Jonah? I got to pass x to y. So, Jonah, when I multiply x and y, what do I write for that? We're going to do x, y. Since we have an option, let's just keep it in order. Think about it. What order was it in for 5? It was x, y, right? So when we do x times y, we want to keep it x, y. All right, let's box them off. 5xy plus 3x plus xy. What matches here? What's going to match? Dylan. 5xy plus xy. And what does that give me, Holland? 5xy plus an xy. So there are 5 xy's plus another xy is going to give me 6 xy. And then we have plus 3x. Guys, why couldn't I add the 3x in with the other ones? Why didn't that one match, Joel? It didn't have the y. It didn't match because it didn't have both of the letters. All right? Guys, your homework's on the back. I want us getting started on that real quick, please.